Welcome to this regular meeting of the Biloxi City Council on April 23rd, 2024. Being that there is a change to the agenda, do we have a motion to amend the agenda?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lawrence, seconded by Mr. Guines. All in favor? Unanimous votes with dimming out of the room. Carrie, will you read those changes?
From the policy agenda, we're removing 4A until May 7th, 2024 for the ordinance to amend a zoning map for planned development commercial district master plan for 1654 Beach Boulevard. And we're substituting item 4C, Exhibit D only, resolution authorizing general obligation bonds in the amount of $5 million.
Do I have a motion to accept it as amended?
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Lawrence, seconded by Mr. Guines. All in favor? Unanimous votes with dimming out of the room. This brings us to the presentation agenda, Mayor's report.
Madam President, Ms. Hunt, I'd like to call Ms. Hunt as first part of our presentation to do a very special introduction. And Ms. Hunt?
Thank you. Y'all knew I was here, didn't
We did.
you? You got your treats?
Left evidence.
Got your treats, okay, good. See, David, that's what you get when I come to a city council meeting.
Maybe you should come more often.
Okay, thank you. Let me tell you all, it's really, and I do get very emotional, as you all know. But I am very, very honored to be here for a very special reason. As you all know, I was a principal for a couple years. Right. But I am here today to recognize a young lady who graduated from Garnflow Elementary School, Nichols, and Biloxi High School. And she today, she lives in Washington. Her mother still lives here, and we're so glad for Mama to be with us today. And she is an author, and she wrote this book. And this book, for our Countdown to Readiness Fair, which is going to be Thursday, all children that attend will get a signed book by the author. And at this time, and it gives me a great deal of pleasure because she's very special, and of course, I'll let her tell you the name of the school and the name of the teacher. Come on up, Mary.
Thank you, Ms. So my name is Mary Martin, and I'm a 25-and-a-half-year Air Force veteran, and I went to Garnflow, she said, Nichols, and Biloxi High. And Ms. Hunt is the only principal that paddled me. She paddled me, and I cried all day, and she let me stay in her office. Every time she tried to send me back, I just started crying. But the book is inspired by my love of reading, and we used to have the weekly reader and the book series during the summer. And so Beverly clearly was one of my favorite authors. So The Adventures of Zira is an ode to my mother back there. Her name is Zira. Friends from A to Z. This whole series will just talk about life changes, issues, and things that military children go through and how to overcome it. The school in the book is Garnflow. It's an ode to my school, Garnflow, because us Garnflow attendees were really tight, and Ms. Hunt kept us in line. And the principal, which is the teacher in here, is Ms. Hunt. So it's just a labor of love and something I wanted to do just because I was so inspired. And I still keep in touch with her today, and she made such an impact on me, and she was a principal, not a teacher. But just seeing her and the way she walked around the hallways and she cared for us, she made such an impact on my life, and I always remember my teachers, and I keep them in high regard. And I have so much love for her, and I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Hey, Mary, don't go anywhere. We're going to give you this certificate on behalf of the city council and the city. And of course, now Ms. Hunt is remembered in print now for forever. Among other things. But let me, on behalf of the city council and the city of Biloxi, certificate of recognition by the authority vested in me by the people of the city of Biloxi, Mary Martin Wren, is hereby awarded the certificate of recognition for her book series, The Adventures of Zara, and inspiring others to use their voice, confidently embrace and celebrate their uniqueness. So it's a great pleasure to give this to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We can do a little photo op. Hey, Ms. Hunt, that's right.
Yeah, me too.
There you go.
There you go. Gotcha.
Thank you very much. Thanks to your mom for bringing this to Biloxi. Thank you. All right, another part of the mayor's report. I'd like to present this proclamation. If you want to come up, and we'll do a photo op, and I'll try and read this with all the pets and great special folks. What a group.
Jeez, look at the size of that thing.
All right.
Dog there when he stood up, that big old damn dog.
Leave the council alone. No.
Right.
All right. This proclamation on behalf of the city, Pet Partners has designated April 30 as National Therapy Animal Day. And whereas Pet Partners therapy animal teams in Biloxi play an essential role in improving human health and well-being through human-animal bond. Pet Partners, their therapy animal teams make millions of visits to your hospitals, nursing homes, schools, hospices, and interact with a variety of people such as veterans, senior citizens, patients, students facing literacy challenges, and those approaching the end of life. Whereas this exceptional therapy animals who partner with their human companions bring comfort and healing to those in need. Therefore, I, Andrew Fofo Gillage, Mayor of Biloxi, do hereby proclaim the 30th day of April 2024 as National Therapy Animal Day. Congratulations. I'll hold it for you. Thank you all, appreciate it. You want to say something, or if anybody like to say something, you're welcome to. All right, Mike.
We'd really like to thank the city and everyone for recognizing our teams. Well, I've got my ears so I don't talk that loud. But, you know, we do, well, this is, I guess, what you'd really call a labor of love. Because going out, meeting with different people, seeing smiles on their faces, and just some of the many things that how these dogs interact with people. It's also, it gives back to us. And but thank you, and anyone interested in pet therapy, see me.
Hang around, Mike, you want to with me today? You got to- All right, thank you all. The last part of our presentation, I asked Lawrence to come on up, and we're going to do a little update on a project we have in Ward 7, Wool Market.
Good afternoon.
Lawrence, kind of introduce.
You want me to sit down, or?
Yeah.
I used to sitting down. Good afternoon. I'm Lawrence Lyons with Urban Development Toolbox. I have not been before y'all in a couple of years, but we're excited to tell you that we are moving forward with this pretty large economic development project at the Wool Market exit. We appreciate the, I think the board approved the platting of the property at the last board meeting. The project looks like it's going to come in around between $50 and $55 million. It'll include an ambulatory medical center, medical offices, a retail center that's going to be fairly high-end, grocery store, and housing that'll be targeting the medical staff that comes in temporary roles when they come in and serve, like 90-day increments. So we're hoping to come before your board maybe at the next board meeting and begin a process with the tax increment finance plan. Right now, the public infrastructure is estimated at when we wrote this, it was at about 8 million, and now it's pushing 10 to 12 million. But under the best case scenario, the TIF bonds, if they invest all $52 million in, will be about $3.5 million. And so we're going to get a copy of these summaries out to you through the clerk today. And if you have questions, I've got cards here. I'll be glad to speak to you individually if there are any questions on this at all. And we're going to be heading over to Harrison County to get their support as well, of course. So this is Jeff Slauson. He is the project manager and the CEO of the company.
Yes, Jeff Slauson. Thank you guys for your support. We're really excited about this project. I think you've probably seen Dr. Edmiston and Dr. Timijan in front of you. They weren't able to be here today. They're at a medical conference. But we appreciate your support. Really excited about this project. And again, let us know if there's any questions.
All right, well, thank you, Lawrence, and appreciate the whole team. I think it's going to be very exciting. Lawrence is he knows what he's talking about. He's former mayor of Vicksburg, and so we appreciate the expertise and some
Very
of the...
formal. We don't talk about it anymore.
No, but it
Former.
really will fire up that whole, part of our city. So David and I think we're very excited about what's coming forward. So thank you.
Thank you.
And any questions? Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Oh, okay. I was just gonna ask, y'all did have some handouts, I think y'all were gonna hand out with some. Okay, that's fine. Here, Ms. Lawrence. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all I had.
Okay.
Okay, and that concludes my report. Thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. No departmental reports. We'll move on to council reports. Mr. Lawrence.
You said they spelled Lawrence on there, L-A-U. My daddy's family come over there, and there was 5 brothers, and one of them changed his name from Lawrence, L-A-W, to L-A-U. So you don't see that too often. He run a shoe shop there across from Home Pride. That was right before, what's your name? Was born, Fofo.
Right here.
The other thing, I could see the WLX tomorrow. Biloxi City Council went to the dogs. So you're going to be all over TV. Had a couple big things happen. The senior games, we had a Friday night. The mayor and I was there, and had a nice crowd. So that was kind of like the closing ceremonies, but it was fun. They had a Hall of Fame. And then, yeah.
Quite 1,000 people.
Then Saturday, we had another book signing from the Cox. He wrote one, Sunset, in Biloxi. They had a book signing at the Seafood Museum. That was 2 o'clock. There was a nice crowd for that. And then last night, I did the good thing I like to do best. They had a new menu at the Hard Rock, so they invited us to go and taste the food. All I ate was pretty good, so I had no problem with that. The best thing was it was free. So it was a good thing, but they changed the menu. That's the cafe, and it's turned out nice. They got the slides, a lot of different things. So if anybody wants to go there and eat, food's excellent. That's the Hard Rock Cafe. That's everything. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Gaines.
Yeah, just one thing. I know she's already gone. Mary Ann Martin, Air Force vet from the community, born and raised in the community, and just wanted to congratulate her. That's all my report.
Mr. Tisdale.
Yes, a couple of things very quickly. First is just a reminder that Biloxi Excel by 5 will have a readiness fair. Ms. Hunt mentioned that briefly. That's this Thursday at the Lopez School campus, and it's for children birth to age 5. And again, that's a readiness fair at the Lopez campus. That's Thursday at 4 p.m. The second thing is, and I notice Mr. Creel's not here today, but when there are public hearings and notices required for things like conditional use or variances, we notify, we have to establish some notice. And this is done one of 3 ways. It's either published in the paper for some, that's one of the requirements for some public hearings, or it's mailed, is another form of notice, or it's posted. And in our ordinance, that section of the ordinance, it says that it's posted on the city's website, but I don't believe there's any site for that. It's probable, my guess is, I believe, my understanding, that these types of notices, since they're not published on the website, are at public facilities, 2 or 3 throughout the community, wherever they may be. Nevertheless, as someone mentioned to me, it says that it's going to be published on the website, so if there's a way we can do that, that'd be terrific. And the other thing is, I would think it would be even better if we could, when we post these public hearings, I would think it would be along the lines of, say, the Planning Commission's agenda, the Board of Zoning Adjustments agenda, and if we could link to those pertinent documents like the applicant for those developments or proposed developments, just like we do for the City Council agendas, that we could do something similar for the Planning Commission and the Board of Zoning Adjustments. So, and I'm sure Mr. Creel could answer that question or give me some guidance, but I'd like the administration to consider doing that, just so we're complying with the ordinance and also being a little more transparent. That concludes my comments. Thank you, Madam President.
Mr. Glavin.
Thank you, Madam President. Just got a few things. First and foremost, I did receive a report on the derelict vessel that's on Cedar Lake Road, just past the Cedar Lake Bridge, as you cross the Cedar Lake Bridge. DMR Roy Litscomb said he was going to check it out with an office in Moss Point to see what our jurisdiction is to remove that vessel. So hopefully we can kind of keep that on the radar. Appreciate Mike's assistance with that to kind of remove that submerged, half-submerged vessel right off of Cedar Lake. Also on Cedar Lake, and this is on the extreme other end, where it comes into Tribe Drive and Brody, there was some striping done on that road, and it looks like some of the paint was spilled in the middle and splattered in the middle of the road. I don't know if we can get something to kind of fix that, but it does look a little sloppy, and I've gotten 2 or 3 calls on it, you know, asking if we could do anything about it. It just doesn't look good. And then a couple other things. So I usually go out to the ball fields like tonight. The 11 and 12-year-olds play at Miguez. I got some of the younger kids. I got a grandson playing over at Severo also. But these young kids, every time I'm out there, they're approaching me and saying, Councilman Glavin, are we going to be able to play on AJ Holloway Sportsplex? Because someone told them that the fields were going to be 155 feet, and they can't wait to hit a home run over that short fence. So I told them, just wait. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be possible or doable. But if not, just keep swinging from the fences out at the parks that y'all are enjoying. And then finally, Michael McCullough, he's a retired Army colonel, and he has some keen interest, and I don't know if Mayor, he's spoken to you about a sister city program. And one of the cities they're targeting is Zadar in Croatia. And what's interesting about that city, it's about the same population as Biloxi. There are a little over 70,000 people there. We got 50,000. There's 5 casinos in Zadar. And, you know, that kind of aligns with us. And the economic drivers are fishing, gaming, and tourism.
Sea organ, too. The sea organ is there, too.
The sea organ is there, and maybe we'll get the sister sea organ here at one point in time.
Shared technology, that's right.
The other interesting fact, they got a lot of festivals that align with our major festival, and one of them, the week after cruising here, they got cruising, their version of cruising in Croatia, the week after our cruising the coast, big event here. So it's just very interesting how a lot of this would be an ideal sister city, how it would align with us, and we could exchange cultural and other, you know, ideas with that sister city. It only costs about $800 a year to file. I think the annual maintenance or requirement by both cities, and both mayors kind of work together, you know, to let their constituents know who their sister city is. I just thought that would be, you know, pretty neat. And that concludes my report.
Mr. Shoemaker?
Just a couple of things. Eagle Point Park, the lights have been working out there finally. They've been operational for several weeks. All is good there. I think a lot of people, it seems, are taking advantage of it. I've even been out there. I probably should be out there a little more, but I've been out there even utilizing it at nighttime some. So that's been fantastic. I think that was a great addition to the park. And just street lights. I didn't realize Ward 7 had been so dark, apparently. There is a lot of street lights out. So I've been trying to get all the information I can and send all that through Coast Electric. I've sent them in the last couple of days a lot of burned out street lights. But I'm going to continue working on that. Hopefully we can get the majority of those back on soon. That's all I have.
Okay. Moving on to public agenda where we have citizen comments. We have a total time allotted of 45 minutes. Each person gets 3 minutes each to speak. Once you reach this desk here in front of us, please write your name and address down as well as state it out loud for the record. Anyone on my left, your right, that would like to get up and speak?
Good afternoon, Council. Write my name here first.
Please.
Okay. All right, I'm a little nervous. My name's Leanna Morgan Socher. I am a parent and a citizen of Harrison County, but a resident of Gulfport. And I actually came here today. I've never done this before. I'm really not a pot stirrer. I'm not someone that usually likes to, cause any kind of problems. But I'm here really as a concerned parent of someone who did have a child that did attend the spring break that happened recently. And I did attend it when I was in the 90s, when I was younger in the 90s. And I have a student who attends Jackson State University. She and 3 of her friends, and I'm just trying to speak from the heart, came down. She had a friend that flew down from out of town. A couple of kids stayed at my house, and a couple of the girls had hotel rooms. I know that there's a lot of people that are locals and not and out-of-towners that are not necessarily college students that attend this event. But from my perspective as a parent and as a citizen and taxpayer of just the county, if there's something that can be done to the treatment of the way things were done, if it's going to continue, if the kids are going to continue to come, if the young people are going to continue to come, which they probably will, the intimidation with the large guns, I know that many people are disrespectful in this generation. They're doing things for likes and for attention on social media that drives them. I know that the disrespect is a problem, and I know that some of them don't know how to act. But you all know the backlash, but as a concerned citizen, like I said a minute ago, the large guns and the complete, blatant, obvious discrimination against how these people are treated compared to other events, it's not right. Right is right and wrong is wrong. With the public parking issues being closed down, if people don't want to allow certain individuals and groups to have events and the permits are not being given, that's understandable. But as far as like vendors aren't able to sell items to the people that are here. The beach, and this is hearsay, I don't attend Black Spring Break, but I do have a child that does. With the public parking being closed, the large guns, that was very intimidating and scary, and even not having a regular size speaker on the beach and the police making them turn down their music, and people having to huddle around in small groups to listen to music. It's crazy, it's ridiculous. With this being a tourist city, and it's embarrassing to the citizens when you have people that have never been to the coast, and this is what they see. It's completely humiliating, it's embarrassing that you come a week later and it's completely different. So just wanted to share my thoughts. Thank you.
Anyone else on my left? Mhm.
Anybody had a pen? Thanks. How y'all doing? Hope everybody's having a good day. My name's Kelvin Burnett. I'm an Air Force veteran. I reside at, I have property in Gulfport, and then we have a property right off the beach, so it's kind of Gulfport and Biloxi. But 21 Grand Lido is the address I'm going to use. So with the Black Spring Break, that's what I'm going to speak about real quick. I know, like I said, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I know a lot of stuff was brought to you guys' attention. The thing that got me was, I feel like, as me, I don't really attend. I went down to see how it was gonna pretty much work out. The thing I don't like is people don't give out the facts to you guys. Since Cruising the Coast has started, since the whole time, it's been 9 deaths. My numbers might be off by 1. Black Spring Break, since it started, they've had 2 deaths. They've had a shooting at Cruising the Coast and Black Spring Break. Scraping the Coast, couldn't find any deaths. Not saying that there wasn't any, couldn't find any. Jeeping the Coast, there was 3, with their 8-year-old getting hit by a Jeep and passing away, rest in peace to his family. But so I know that kind of the issue, like she said, some of these kids is not even doing the Black Spring Break. I know the name gives some people an issue, but I don't get the name. I wish they would change it. Hey, but these kids are disrespectful year round. I feel like if we can get with these groups or organizations, if they would come together kind of like Mardi Gras does, have the nonprofits covering everything, it would be better in my opinion, because that way you have a better connection to the city. I wish somebody from the city would step up with somebody and it's like, hey, let's get together and come up with a solution or something, because we get resolutions when we do these agendas all the time. We can find some kind of way to fix it. Somebody said it's like a broken baby. We know it's coming. We got, a year to prepare for it. Let's see if we can't work something out. Like I said, people, all police aren't bad. We have like 1 or 2 bad apples. With some jobs, you can't afford to have that one bad apple. I wish somebody would like kind of look into how things were handled. A lot of these kids were mistreated. You don't want people standing on the sidewalk of the beach, and some kids got arrested for that. But then yet you have people come out with tents and cars and chairs and let them sit on the beach. Then you had the mall closing at 7 o'clock. All the signs with the parking signs said 10 o'clock, and you were towing people's cars and arresting people. It's like, at some point, we got to get this stuff under control, because it's like she said, as a citizen, it's like, it's embarrassing, and it's like, who's running the law? Like, are we all, citizens in the same city here? That's all I got. No, I mean, just to put some stuff on you guys' mind. All right, thank y'all for having me.
Anyone else on our left, you or right, that would like to get up and speak? Go ahead. Come on.
Mr. Jack. Looks good.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. I just got a couple questions, and then I have a request from David. On April the 4th, at approximately 1:39, right out here, I was cited for not making a complete 100% stop. Hey, if he said I didn't make the stop, I didn't completely stop. So I'm gonna pay the ticket. But he said, when he came to my window, that the city council of Biloxi had told them to write more citations. Now, being in the military at one time, if I had a subject lower than me make a statement to someone like that, I would definitely call him in and have a talk with him. And my advisor that advised me to come here and ask you a couple questions, and this is a question he asked. He says, if the city council made that comment, we cannot find it anywhere in the minutes or on the agenda. So, he's a supervisor, I'm not, So I was just curious. I'm not gonna say who the officer was, and if he cited me, that's fine. I've been driving a cab for 31 years, and I'm almost 80 years old now. I had one previous ticket since I was 16 years old. But I just want y'all to know that an officer should not make a comment to someone. And this is another thing he did not do. He did not ask for my insurance and my registration, in which he should have. That's all I want to say on that. Mr. David, you are a new elected city council member in Ward 7. If you go north of the $2 Generals right there, there's a bump. Someone attached the house to the lines for the sewer, and the bump has grown, and it's been there for 2 years. I asked Mr. Barrett to at least fill it in, and if you could get it done, everybody has to hit it. You can't go one side or the other, but we'd appreciate that. And our subdivision's a pretty big subdivision up there. I thank you guys for your time, and God bless Biloxi. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on our right, your left, that would like to get up and speak? Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mandy Lawrence Hornsby, Historic Administrator for the city. I'm at Community Development, if anyone needs to find me. I've been pretty popular lately. So one of the things that part of the very big shoes I'm filling from Bill Raymond was our Preservation in May programming, which begins next week. So I just wanted to come and formally invite the council, administration, city staff, and the community to our events. Next week, we have the Historical Expo beginning on the evening of Thursday the 2nd, and that's kind of like almost like a career fair for different cultural and historical groups all across the Gulf Coast. We have groups coming from as far as Picayune to Pascagoula. And the next week is our first event we are ever holding in Wool Market at Colville. We're going to have some speakers talk about the history of Wool Market and what it was like growing up in the community. Our 16th program is at the Old Biloxi Cemetery. Old Biloxi Cemetery is always a favorite for our historical programming, but what we are doing is featuring recipes from people that are interred in the cemetery. So if you have a family recipe and someone that is buried in the Biloxi Cemetery and you want to share it for that event, send me or Lori Rossetti an email. We are also featuring Candace Wheeler's new book, because Main Street's featuring her in their book club, so we decided to add that as our event. And then Preservation Awards are the last event, going to be at the George Orr Museum. So we hope to see everyone there. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak? If not, citizen comments are now closed. This brings us to the policy agenda. Ms. Carey?
Resolution finding and determining that resolution number 16324, adopted on the 19th day of March, was duly published as required by law, that no sufficient protest described in said resolution has been filed by the qualified electors.
Do I have a motion? Motion by Mr. Tisdale.
Second.
Second by Mr. Glavin. Any discussion, Mr. Tisdale?
Yeah, Ms. Minardi, I think, wants to mention something and may have a
I have a
answer.
I have a mea culpa. The purpose of this resolution is to evidence that nobody showed up by the deadline to protest the $5 million bonds that we're considering. And in your previous resolution, you set that deadline for 1:30 p.m. today. We published it once a week for 3 weeks that people needed to show up by 1:30 today to protest. But when I prepared this resolution for your consideration, in paragraph number 3, I had a typo. I said on or prior to the hour of 6 o'clock p.m. And so I am hoping one of you would make a motion to correct that to say on or prior to 1:30 p.m.
And if it's appropriate to make the motion at this point, I'll do so.
And I'll second.
All right. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was reading the write-up on this here, and I noticed last week we talked about buying the Dustport warehouse, but I don't really see where you could do that in this bond for $2 million. I don't see where it's listed. There's a lot to do with the parks and recreation and fixing up the water sewer. A lot of good things in there, not a problem.
I believe
can't see where we could buy something like that, private land.
That's in the next resolution that lists all the things you can do with the
Say that
bond.
again, I'm sorry.
Excuse me?
That's in the
Say
next
that again, I
resolution.
didn't hear you.
Next resolution. It's going to be in the next resolution.
But you passed this one, you passed the 2 million. You pass the one to the other one. So they both the same thing. That's just I'm just asking the question, that's all.
Now, the way I read the authorized purposes in the next resolution, which tracks the statute, that does allow for the purchase of buildings for municipal purposes.
In addition, this resolution in paragraph 2, which mentions the previous resolution we did on March 19, 2024, if you go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the 10th line, it states, one of the purposes is for purchasing buildings or land therefore. And that would cover purchasing a building.
Yeah, but you purchase land for a warehouse. This here has nothing to do with us buying the land for a building.
Purchasing
Everything
buildings
in it,
or
yeah,
land.
It's everything around it. It's sewer, public parks, fixing up stuff, recreation, everything. There's nothing except that one little line. I saw that. So I mean, but that don't say that you can go buy a $2 million piece of property. Because it serves no purpose for what you have this, you passing this bond for, none.
Well, this bond is known, I think, I'll defer to Jane, but I think they call it a kitchen sink bond, to where they list any possible purchase what the city could use is one of the purposes. And so this is the overall purchase of the bond for what it could be used for in general, globally. And next week, I think there's gonna be, well, last week was a specific, putting the building under contract.
No, I just think that's a stretch.
Okay.
You know, so I mean, as long as that's in there, and when you plan on doing that, I'm not supporting either one of these bond things. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
And this is on the amendment to correct that 1:30 time.
Okay.
What we're voting.
So we're voting on the amendment to correct the 1:30 time only at this point. All in favor? Unanimous vote. Now,
Vote against.
One against.
oh, sorry, one against. 5-1, Dimming out of the room. By the way, Dimming said he's sending his apologies for not being here. He's feeling under the weather. Okay, so now all in favor of the resolution as amended? 5-1. Lawrence against. Moving on to Resolution C.
I moved.
Motion by Mr. Lawrence,
Second.
second by Mr. Guines. Oh, we gotta have Carrie read it first.
The one question I want
Wait,
to
whoa,
ask.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Carrie's gotta read the resolution.
Got to read it.
Resolution authorizing and directing the issuance of general obligation bond series 2024 in a total amount not to exceed $5 million.
Okay, motion by Mr. Lawrence, second by Mr. Guines. Any discussion now, Mr. Lawrence? Any discussion?
No, I already asked the question.
All right, Mr.
I
Guines?
don't think we should be buying a $2 million building, the notes that they couldn't give away. We're wasting $2 million. Then we go right from that last week, we go into a pay raise thing, and we don't have any money. Now we're passing a bond to buy an old warehouse that's obsolete in a flood zone. Take it off the tax roll. Just a mistake to me. Wasted $2 million. It's something we really don't need. You spend $2 million anywhere in the city of Biloxi on our property and find one fine building, not in a flood zone. So that's I can't, $2 million for that, to me, is just a bad mistake by the city. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Mr. Guines?
None.
Go ahead, Mr. Tisdale.
The other, not the remainder of the bond money, excuse me, that's being used to purchase this warehouse that Mr. Lawrence mentioned. But the bulk of the remainder is going towards the renovation or the rehabilitation of Fire Station number 5. We'd stated that earlier. I just wanted to be sure those were the two items that primarily this bond issue was for.
1.5.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Go ahead, Mr. Babin.
So I'm going to follow up sort of the other side of the coin that Mr. Lawrence kind of had stated. So currently, we're leasing property for storage purposes. How much money are we saving on an annual basis by terminating that lease?
Two facilities that we're renting. One was being the Johnson Diesel at Crawford Street, and a number of, the place around there, and then also the training facility, which offsets the training facility that the police department is using over by the off of For the Rhine. Is that right? So we're going to combine those two functions into one building, and possibly another, but we're not ready to completely offset. I think the debt service is about, just using those two as an offset, it's about $50,000 difference, but it'll be our building versus.
Correct.
And there's no escalation in rent that we were facing very shortly, so that those two buildings were costing us about $125,000 plus the taxes that was part of the triple net, if you will. So 193 versus 130 or so.
And of course, the owners of those properties can now turn around and either sell it or do something with it, and that'll generate additional revenue and everything. So this is in essence sort of a wash. It abuts to an existing parcel that we own and can further use and develop, and it expands our capability because of the capacity of the buildings that we're acquiring. That's kind of what I weighed a little bit when I was looking at this and thinking, well, moving forward, we don't have an owner of the existing property that we are leasing that we have to worry about escalations because we now own the building and can avoid those escalations in the future. Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you.
Let me add one thing, that property that we own between the railroad tracks and Division Street that abuts, this building, really gonna provide a tremendous, functional, situation for both PD and Public Works. They've got a lot of, land, I'm not sure how many acres it is, but for us, I mean, it's makes a lot of sense. And the building's stronger than what it appears as far as foundation and elevation.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Anyone else? No? Okay.
I'd like to say one thing, kind of what Kenny was saying. The bigger problem I have with this piece of property is in a flood zone. I don't see how anything on Division Street, an old warehouse, could actually be valued at $2 million. That's one problem. And every time it rains, when they bring the trucks in off the old railroad track, it floods. There's no drainage back there at all. That's right on side my brother-in-law's shop. I see it all the time. That property is not that valuable. When you could build a piece of property, something across the bay, how about a police station, out of the flood zone, out of the hurricane weather, everything. We have property. If you want to build something, then we need to spend the money on building something new, not buying something. Because you're going to have to put money into that building. Might cost you another couple $100,000 to fix it up. You lose it on the tax roll. It's nothing but an expense.
I respectfully, I respect your decision. I'd like to go over in detail to show you just exactly. It was, you could not build that building for $3 million right now, anywhere. And, given the situation that it is so, contiguous with a piece of property, it really fits the needs of the city of Biloxi on the peninsula. So, some of the things that we're, envisioning in that building.
I just think we can spend our $2 million way better. So I can't support that either.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay. All in favor? 4-1, with Guines and Deming out of the room. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Tisdale, second by Mr. Lawrence. Any discussion, Mr. Lawrence?
I got a question I wanted to ask Popo or Mike on this electric charging system. Is that costing us any money, or is there somebody else put that up? That's
I think
E.
it's part of a grant, right? E. The capital project related to the wool market. No, I think that's a grant.
No, what we're doing is, this was part of the medical park we had in that area. They wanted to have a charging station in that area, and there was those two doctors. The doctors that are doing that medical park at Wool Market Center. So this was a grant that they were gonna apply for to try to get the funding for it. And they were gonna put up the money for the grant, not the city. We were just gonna help process it. They submitted, it was a nationwide thing, and there was no funding given to the project.
It's on.
That's worse.
No,
I can't hear that one at all.
Sit over here. It was part of the grant that we didn't, that was applied for.
They didn't give money. There was no money given to Louisiana, Alabama. There basically was no money given anywhere in the South for charging stations. So this is just, we're just closing this grant out so we don't have to keep it on the books. That's what we're doing here.
All right. Thank you.
They probably still will have charging stations, though, on their own.
You got any more items?
That's it.
No?
That's all.
Mr. Tisdale?
Nothing.
Mr. Glavin?
Nothing.
Mr. Shoemaker? No? All right, all in favor of the consent agenda? Unanimous vote with Guines and Deming out of the room. Any exceptions?
That's it.
No? All right. Moving on to code enforcement.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
I'm Tara Busby, Code Enforcement Administrator for the City of Biloxi. I'm here in place of Director Creel. Item A on the Code Enforcement agenda, ET Properties LLC at 1891 Pops Ferry Road. We would ask for a 60-day extension.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Glavin, second by Mr. Tisdale. All in favor? 60 days? Okay.
Item B, Sean Mitchum, 13337 North Sandy Creek Road is resolved.
Okay.
Item C, Jason and Rachel Gibson, 1971 Bayside Drive, that is also resolved.
Perfect. Thank you. Do I have a motion on the routine agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Tisdale.
Second.
Second by Mr. Glavin. Any discussion, Mr. Lawrence? Wake up.
Routine.
Well, I don't see Walt. You got any,
1.4 is in the middle, but there's no,
have we received the money we were talking about last week? He said he was supposed to be getting it.
1.4, yes.
You received that?
No,
You have not?
I have not.
Don't they have like,
But there's no cost, no agenda.
don't they have 2 million behind that, so you're waiting for both of them?
I think we got the 2 million. 1.4 is what's in the mix, what's being processed.
All right, thank you.
All in favor of the routine agenda? Unanimous vote. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Tisdale, seconded by me. All in favor? Unanimous vote. Meeting adjourned.